I'm a hand analyst, a master hand analyst, in that I look at your fingerprints and I look at your hands. And your fingerprints never change and your hands do. And the hands are about personality. Your fingerprints are really about your blueprint for life, or your soul agenda, we call it. And I'm not a predictive palmist. That's what a lot of people think I am when they first meet me. I actually help people plant themselves completely in who they are in the present, so they're ready for anything in the future. So we're called a hand analyst, but we really feature the fingerprints as the starting point of the journey for people, because it's the indelibly imprinted and it is their soul agenda for life. Well, I was in public health in both government and academia for 30 years, and I had fabulous jobs. I have no regrets. But there was somebody, I think it was during my clueless years, there was something inside of me that said, you know, I don't really fit. There's something missing. You know, good jobs, blah, 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 but it just, and that was it, blah, blah, blah. It just didn't feel right. So I said to a friend when I was in my 40s, I said, I want a change. I want out. She said, well, you should get your hands analyzed. So one of the things I do with people is I look at the shape of their hands, and the shape of their hands is their personality style. And I have the style of a scientist, and I was trained as a scientist. So when somebody said, you should get your hands analyzed, Janet, I said, huh? What? Really? And so, but you know what? I trusted her, and I was looking for something, so I said, well, why not? And it was a wonderful transition, because I just said, this is something I want to do. It fed my data-driven self, and it also has helped me really develop my intuition in terms of weaving the stories I tell for people. The personality aspects of your hands, everything but your fingerprints, are really wired directly to your brain. So they're neural pathways. We know our brain changes, neuroplasticity. And as we experience life, our brain is going to change. So our hands will change. Our personality archetype does not, but the hands will change. Your natural way of feeling and your natural way of thinking will not change, but there are a lot of subtle things that do. And it's very concrete and it's very personal. And then when my mentor, Richard Unger, put forth his theory about fingerprints, and after he studied for years and years, he realized that those wave patterns, unique to us and never change, may be a key to our true self and what we're meant to be on this earth. So it's been about 40 years now, but we have studied the meaning of fingerprints. So why hands? They're really concrete, personal, and really very tangible, accurate information. A science in that Richard, when he, this was in the late 70s, he had studied a lot of the ancient palmistry traditions, and it isn't science per se, but there's many, many, many years of tradition. And he took the non-predictive palmistry traditions and he translated them into modern language. So we call it the art of palmistry, but then he took the fingerprints, and after years of studying, and actually 50,000 hands later, and now since the master teachers and hand analysts trained, by the way, at our International Institute of Hand Analysis, take the science further and study the patterns more and more. And we feel confident that this theory that Richard had back in the 70s, after looking at many of the patterns of a person's hand, I mean their fingerprints specifically, really gives us some very tangible information about what a person's supposed to be and do, and also what might be getting in the way. And again, indelibly, never changes. So we believe it is a science, yes. Many of my clients come to me as where I was in a major place of transition, and whether it's career, or they're looking for some new creative expression, they want to expand their business. Many people come to me because they've got relationship challenges, or they just can't find a relationship. And sometimes they just know, like me, they wanted a change and they didn't even know where it was going to go. So the benefits are that we identify actually the hands, the concrete information that might be telling them why it is they're blocked. And the block can be about career, relationship, but really it is a major lifelong, life-scale block that keeps them from really owning what they want. So my clients come away with a sense, I think, of feeling that they've got a map, they've got a blueprint, they have something that they can reference in the form of a recording and the information that I give them in summary. And if they come to me just once, that's sometimes enough because it's really identifying the main theme that they're here to work on. And so I've seen many people make big changes in their career. I've seen people at least getting clear about relationship issues. I think the number one thing is they fall in love with themselves more first, opening the channels for better relationships. I think I've unblocked just recently. I had a writer that had writer's block, and she was thrilled because even before the end of the session, she really got a sense of where she needed to go with her writing and what she was trying to do. So I tell people actually that I help them access what they already know, and I help them open doorways that have been closed. So if they're coming to me, you know, it's their job to open the doors, but I give them a few inklings. I work in a variety of different ways. I teach people this system. I'm a master teacher of our International Institute of Hand Analysis. So I do the level 1 intensive training, which they learn primarily the fingerprint system and really about how the hands combine with the fingerprint system. I co-teach the distance certification course, and we have students from all over the world. So we have cyber groups, I guess I would say. I do that as a teacher, as a master teacher, and as a master hand analyst, I run workshops, discovery workshops, variety of topics. I won't even go into them. You can find that on my website. I do presentations, a lot of presentations, one of my favorite things to do, about hands, about a lot of things about what keeps you from getting there, tools to get there, that kind of thing. And then one of my favorite things to do, actually two of my favorite things to do, is I do a life purpose journey group locally once or twice a year, depending on the demand. And it's a journey that I take with my clients, people who may have had a brief experience with me, and we take them to a much deeper place. And there's a lot of support and accountability within the group. And I'd say the last thing that I love to do, which is a great introduction for people, is called a hand reading circle. And I invite a host that's hosting the circle to gather 10 people. And it's a magical trip, sometimes a life-changing trip, but mainly it's a great introduction to what this system is all about. And they get very personal contact, and they also get a lot of group fun and pleasure out of it. So yeah, that's the range of group work that I do. It's the International Institute of Hand Analysis. About a third of our schooling is in Switzerland, so therefore a lot of Europeans come, and then in California. And as I said, I do the distance training, so many students can come via distance. But when I started this, I took the first level, and then I took all we have certified hand analyst, advanced hand analyst, and master hand analyst. And it's a series in years of training, and then you get supervision from people who are above you. And right now, I am one of less than 10 practicing master hand analysts in the world, because it takes a lot of devotion and dedication to get there, but it's worth it. Master teacher, it just means that I've been teaching the system to individuals and doing groups for so many years, and now I've been trained in our curriculum at the Institute, and that I'm one of 6 master teachers in the world now that can teach the system using the Institute's curriculum.